Probably one of the reasons why I've been called to share my thoughts is because of my association with an organization called Gita Jayanti. So this is an initiative of the Hindu Endowments Board, because what it does is it brings together Hindu organizations from different walks of life. But what this does is it brings everyone together under the umbrella. It's about 25 different organizations come together under the umbrella of Gita Jayanti to talk more about the Gita, to share the message of the Gita, and to see ways to practice it. I would say it's not found in any other part of the world. It's something which is found in Singapore and which is very unique to Singapore. Bhagavad Gita literally translates into Song of the Lord, and it's a dialogue between Lord Krishna, who's one of the gods in the Hindu culture, and his friend and disciple by name Arjuna. So the context to this is it is not spoken in a forest or anything. It's spoken in the midst of action, in the midst of a battlefield is where this conversation actually takes place. And the Gita is often taken as a very practical guide to life. So it's kind of appropriate that we start talking about the Gita when we ask ourselves, hey, what's the purpose? So that's a very brief introduction. Let's kind of get into the topic. One thing we can be certain, this you might feel that I'm beginning on a very dark note, but this is the truth of things. And the truth of things is every living being, human or otherwise, every living being has one thing which is sure in life. And that sure thing about life is it is going to end at some point. For an animal, it could be a little bit more, 20 years, 30 years. For humans, you can say, live up to 100 years. A tortoise, you could say, can live up to 200 years, 250 years. Yes, but why is this important? Why am I talking about this right at the beginning is, this is a fact of life. This is something we have to live with. So one idea of saying, one very easy idea of saying is, purpose of life is ultimately that we are going to go away. But that is very simplistic. And if you largely divide living kingdoms into, let's say, you've got plants, we've got animals, and then we got us humans. We say we are the apex of creation, all of these things. So the thing about the plants is they also live. They're born, they live, they die. Trees grow, plants grow, and they die. Then we talk about animals. There seems to be a slightly more complicated structure when it comes to animals. It seems to have some more feelings than what a plant has. It's able to relate to people. It's able to sense danger. It's able to turn away from danger. They are able to live in groups. So this is something a little more evolved, which we see in animals. If you take us as humans, we also grow, height, weight, length, breadth, all of that happens. We form relationships. We get to know people, we have emotions. But we do something which the animals don't or which the plants don't. We ask questions. Have you ever come across an animal which asks a question, what is my purpose? No. And I guess this is what Ruben kind of talked about right at the beginning when he said, we are unique. As humans, we are unique because we are in search of something. We ask questions. So there is an intellect which comes in. So there is a body, there is a mind, and then there is an intellect also which comes in. Our purpose is not just to exist, but something else, which is to exist happily. One thing I'm sure everyone will agree with me is to say, what we all want is to be happy. There is another thing about humans, which is, again, unique, and that is we are hardwired to keep doing something. We always want some kind of an activity. And the Gita calls this out very clearly. The Bhagavad Gita, in that Krishna says, even for a minute, we cannot exist without activity. And that is the human nature. It is hardwired into us. There are three things from this. First one is we want to exist. We all want to be there. So you can consider that to be a purpose. Second thing, we want to keep doing something. So that is another purpose. We want to keep doing something. The third is, while existing and doing something, we want to be happy. So what is the Hindu outlook to say, what is my purpose? We got to ask that. The Hindu wisdom will divide it into four. And I'll give you the technical terms and I'll quickly explain that. I will not delve so much on the technical terms. In Sanskrit, it is called dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. In Tamil, it is called aram, porul, invam, veedu. So what does this mean? Dharma basically represents some kind of action which we need to be doing. So we cannot be without acting. So we have to act in a righteous manner. We'll come to this whole topic of righteous manner later. Second is we desire something, we want to fulfill that, we want security, we want stability. So that becomes artha. And kama means we want a little bit of enjoyment in life. No one wants to have life without enjoyment, so we want to enjoy something in life. And finally is called moksha or liberation, which simply put is we want to be happy. So then we ask ourselves, okay, the purpose of my life is to be happy. How can I be happy? Or if you're looking forward to a great dinner, you know what the feeling is. When you have a stomach full, we want to do something else. We want to have a good place to live in. We want to have a secure place to live in. So that's another kind of thing which gives us happiness. So material things, there are things around us which make us happy, whether it's food, whether it's wearing nice clothes, whether it's staying in a nice place, all of these make us happy. Having got all of these, we want to go one level further. We don't want to be happy alone. We want someone to share our happiness with. So we want friends around us. We want a family to share these happiness with. So that's another level of happiness. Great, all of this is good. But there is a certain, what the Hindu tradition will call a dosha, or a little bit of a problem in these things which give us happiness. And that is, first of all, it takes a lot of effort. You want to have a nice meal, you got to take a lot of effort to cook it. And after cooking, you got to wash up. That takes a lot of effort. The second thing is, having got all of this, we are not really free. It kind of binds us. Think about a nice cup of coffee. You have a nice cup of coffee right in the morning. What does that make you do? It makes you crave for more coffee. Unfortunately, these things which make us happy have a tendency to bind us and to say, I need more of this in order to be happy. And it does not always provide satisfaction. That's the third fault in all of this. The first cup of coffee is great. The second cup of coffee is great. By the time you come to the 10th cup of coffee, you're not feeling well. So it does not give us happiness. So the question now is, how do we then be happy? And happiness is not a product of what is out there, but it is a product of what is in here. How we react to the things that we have around in the world is ultimately what makes us happy. There are two things which we really need to do in order to be happy. One is discriminate. It is called viveka. Discriminate between something which will keep you happy in the short term, which is very pleasant, and something which is good for you. Something which is pleasant need not always be good for us. Something which is really good for us in the long term need not always be pleasant. It's pretty hard to get up in the morning and go to school, especially in the Singapore system. School begins at 7:15 in the morning, and it's pretty hard to do that. So it's not a very pleasant experience. But doing that is good for us because it gives us a good education. And the second thing it says is, be dispassionate or vairagya. Enjoy the things in the world, but don't be dependent on them for your happiness. Enjoy a cup of coffee, enjoy a good meal, enjoy a good home, but don't be dependent on that for your happiness. So that is a very strong statement in the Upanishad, the Isavasya Upanishad, which says, Tena tyaktena bhunjita, meaning renounce and enjoy. When you renounce, meaning you're not attached to that, you don't think that your happiness is dependent on that. If I don't get my next cup of coffee, my mood is off. Let that not be your purpose in life. Be happy with what you have, and that is the purpose. I'm going to end this whole thing by just giving you an illustration, and this has to do with three people, and these three people are really good, skilled craftsmen. They are working under a very hot sun one day. The sun is blistering hot, there is not much cover. So what they are doing is they are working on stone with their chisels and with their hammers, they are working on stone. There is a guy who is kind of going around and who is seeing a lot of people working. And he approaches one of them and he says, "Hey, what are you doing?" Remember, it's very hot. The guy is sweating all over and he snaps immediately and he says, "Can't you see I'm breaking the stone?" The way in which this guy says it, the questioner says, "Okay, you're breaking the stone. Okay, fine, fine. I don't want to talk to you anymore." He moves on. So he goes to the next guy who seems to be doing something similar and says, "Hey, what are you doing?" The guy says, he doesn't snap at him, but he's a little bit tired and he says, "Can't you see I'm earning money for my family? I'm earning money to feed myself and for my family." He says, "Okay, makes sense." He moves on, sees the third guy, and he asks him the same question. "Hey, what are you doing?" And this guy says, "Hey, I'm carving a beautiful design which will stand here for generations and which will talk about who we are, what our culture is. And I'm going to capture all of those in this piece of stone. And it's going to be beautiful when you see the finished product." Now, all three of them express some purpose. The first guy was just chiseling stone. The second guy was doing it for sake of his security for him, for his family. The third guy had a much larger vision of saying, "I'm doing this as a product of my happiness. I'm happy and I want to express this to others." So that is exactly what the Gita would tell you as purpose. The purpose is to be happy, doing work in the spirit of duty without being really attached to it. Thank you for listening to me patiently. Happy to take any questions. Like Ruben says, please do go ahead and type your questions on chat. We can have a little more of interactive discussion as we get to the question answer session. But I want to pause here because I'm eager to also listen to Mr. Raja talk about and share his thoughts on it. So back to you, Ruben.
So now we'll move on to Mr. Raja, and I'll love to hear what he has to say about this question.
Yeah, Vanakkam. So I am Raja, as you know, and I'm from this organization known as the Art of Living Organization. And I take it that you can hear me. I'm going to speak to this tone. If not, I'll increase my tone. All right. And so in this organization, what is it about? You can actually Google and find out, that's for sure, and find out more information about this. But in a nutshell, this brings about a lot of traditional Vedic knowledge in terms of one particular aspect. There are many aspects of it. One of it is the traditional yoga, Ayurveda, and breathing techniques, which we know as pranayama and kriya. And last but not least, we have this wonderful thing called dhyanam or meditation. So all of these are taught in a traditional way. When I say tradition, something that has been here for thousands of years and has been brought down, and there's with proper guidance, we teach this program. So at a very young age, I was enjoying my lifetime until I was put into a school. And when I was put into school, I didn't enjoy it because I didn't enjoy studying. And some of you may be able to relate to that. But my parents say, no, you have to go through it. If you want to enjoy yourself, you better finish your studies and pass your exams. So somehow or other, I studied and worked hard, and I finished. And I went to secondary school. Environment was different. Wow, am I happy now? Yes, I was seeing new friends, new things, but it didn't stay for long. I had to study again and go through this process. And I say, I'll be happy when I finish my secondary school education and go to college. So I went to college, and what happens? Okay, yeah, I'll finish my studies and I will be happy when I get a job. I'll be free from all of this. So when I get my job, am I happy? No, I want to get a girlfriend. I want to get a partner. And once I get married, I'll be happy. So I find someone, yes, so good. Let's get married. After getting married, it's nice to have a baby. Can we have a baby? So I will stop here right now. From this process that I think some of you already got it. If you notice, I was actually looking into postponing my happiness. I will be happy when this happens. You understand? When this happens. So I was actually moving, and some of you may be relating to this again. Yeah, we were keeping our happiness in a post-mode man, rather than, it's a pursuit of happiness rather than an expression of happiness. So why can't we be happy now and continue doing whatever you need to do, right? Now, this question is, how do we tap onto this happiness that is within us, which I already mentioned about? For that, you need to know the nature of the mind. When the mind is calm and relaxed, an equanimous mind, a very clear mind, then you are already in the present moment. When the mind is in the moment, then it's not thinking about the past or the future, as I mentioned. It is here now, and that is when it gets in touch with the source. All right. Some of them call it mindfulness nowadays, but it's been there for a very long time. So that is why when you're 100% and being focused in the moment, you're already happy. So when you're happy, your energy level is also very high. When we call energy level, I will use this word called, in a Sanskrit word, it's called prana shakti. Okay. So when your energy level is high, you're also basically very, what we call as very sattvic quality. Sattvic means very light, very alert, very happy, very joyful. Energy level is high. Now, how to increase this energy level? Firstly, you need to have proper rest. It's a basic thing. If you have proper rest, good sleep, that's good. Second thing is food. Food plays an important part. If you have too much of fried food, too much of non-vegetarian food, that also has a effect on the state of the mind as well. Your alertness goes down. All right. More of a plant-based food, vegetarian food is really ideal. You can check it out. I'm not forcing you to become a vegetarian, but you can try it out and know how you feel, the nature of the mind. The third thing is, how is the right company? Having the right company, you have a good company with among your loved ones, your friends. The fourth thing, which is what I'm going to be talking about, is mainly on the increasing of the energy level. It is the prana, which is through the breath. When you breathe correctly, it increases the energy level in us. Normally, we are aware of our breath, but we really don't put a lot of attention to it. So that's why the ancient technique that the seers or these gurus have told us, that if you do a proper breathing technique, what happens is it keeps the mind in the moment. Now I'm going to talk about how do we tap on to this happiness that is within us. I will just share with you a breathing technique which you can use it any time of the day. And I want you to check it out, try it out yourself, and we will sit for silence for about 1 to 2 minutes. And I hope that is okay. Just for you to experience that little quietness and time. And from there, you will understand that how important it is to spend time for yourself. It's not a selfish thing. It is something that is good, so that you can become more productive and joyfully do many things. So I want you to do this to increase your prana level. I will teach you a breathing techniques. There are many breathing techniques that I can teach, but one of it is my favorite, is this alternate nostril breathing, which increases the prana level. We call it Nadi Sodhan. So breathing from the left side and breathe out through the right side. Okay. So this is how it is done. Use your thumb, breathe in. You use your thumb to press the right nostril. You breathe in from the left nostril and close the left nostril and breathe out through the right nostril. Breathe in from the right nostril and open the left nostril. So what you do is, let's try this for just 1 minute, okay? Or not 1 minute, we'll do for 3 rounds, breathing in one side and breathe out on the other side. So let's start with the left nostril. Breathe in, breathe out through the left nostril. Breathe in and breathe out through the right nostril. Breathe in from the right nostril and breathe out through the left nostril. Very good. Another time, breathe in from the left nostril and breathe out through the right nostril. Okay. Now what I want you to do, I just place your hands gently on the lap. Both palms are facing the ceiling. Okay, sit comfortably in wherever you are. I would invite you to just close your eyes for the next few seconds, just for the few seconds. Okay, then I want you to just bring the attention to the tip of the nostril and just observe the incoming and the outgoing breath. That's all you need to do. Breathing in and breathe out normally, but bring the attention very lovingly to the incoming and the outgoing breath. Very good. That's good. Now, thoughts may come in. There may be some sounds or in the environment. Just accept the sounds and very gently bring the attention back to the nostril, to the incoming breath and the outgoing breath. Now, at the same time, bring the attention to the navel region and feel the stomach rising and falling just for another few more seconds as you are breathing in and breathing out. Very good. Just very nice. The incoming breath energizes the body, and the outgoing breath relaxes you. So let all the goodness come through the nostril. And as you breathe out all the tensions. Relax more and more as you breathe out. Relax your body, drop your shoulders. For another 10 more seconds, we're just going to bring the attention back to the breath. Very good. Come what may. Just relax. If there are any thoughts, just slowly come back to the breath. Do not resist the thoughts. It's okay. Very nice. Breathing in and breathing out. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Very slowly and gently, you may, taking your time, you may gently open your eyes. How did that feel? If you're feeling good, if you feel a bit relaxed, just give me a thumbs up. Then I know that, okay. So yeah, this is just a couple of minutes. And, if you spend longer time with yourself, there's, this reservoir, that energy is not something from outside. We cannot buy from Red Bull or coffee or tea. It is actually within us. So if you want to know more, you can ask Ruben about this, and I'll be more than happy to go through a session with you all as well. So actually, that's my my sharing for the purpose of life here. Thank you so much for patiently listening to me. Over to you, Ruben.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Raja. That was, I didn't expect a practical session at the end. Thanks for that. That was super relaxing. Any longer, and maybe, I don't know, I may have fallen asleep. It was very relaxing. Yeah, so thanks for that. Thank you all for, taking the time out to join us today. It's a Friday evening. You could be doing anything, but you chose to be with us today. Thank you, speakers. Thank you for your wisdom and guidance. And it was really, really refreshing for me to hear perspectives from yourself, Mr. Raja and Mr. Anand. So I thank you all, and I wish you all a good night and a long weekend because it's Chinese New Year. All right, thanks.
All the best to you all. All right, thank you for.
Thank you, everyone. Namaste.